evening, everyone, and welcome to the Undisputed Heavyweight Champion of the World show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. Happy Thursday. It is a special Thursday, though, because tomorrow night, that's right, tonight plus a night, tomorrow night, the countdown is over, and it is robot fighting time, and I'm not even going to attempt to do that because tonight is a special one. We've got the man behind the mic, the master of ceremonies, the voice himself, Faruq, is going to return to the Fan Show to talk about what he was on the show his very first time to talk about. And that's Battlebots. He's been on to talk about his Eagles and his cooking channel. He cooks, he scores, and the noise. And he's a man of many talents, but his best talent, my favorite talent, is the one when he's in that battle box. So he will be on in about 30 minutes, and he's going to help close out this episode, close out the week. Battlebots week here on the show has been a great one, and it's going to continue into Season 3 as we will have weekly segments with different team members from Season 3. Very excited to get to know a lot of these individuals. And then, of course, I have content from when I was down there that I'll finally get to share with you fine folks of Fan Nation. It's going to be a lot of fun, a great time, so you won't want to miss it. In case you did miss it, though, last night's episode with John Remar, great time talking to him, his thoughts being a referee for Battlebots and how he feels about Season 3. And then we had Philip, who has his album recording at the Big Dipper this weekend, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs with him. Great guy, great comedian, and I love knowing as many comedians as I do, because then if I ever need to have like a funny show, because they're not all funny. I mean, we try hard here at the Fan Show, but you know, you can't have 312 winners, can you? Well, maybe I can, but anyway, we're over the 300 hump. We're into bold new territory on the Fan Show. 2018 has been fantastic, and so with that, let's go ahead and go to the headlines. Let's not forget, headlines are brought to you all month long by Dynamite Enterprises. They are the one-stop shop for anything customized. And I say that, and I don't endorse people that I don't believe in as far as when it comes to this kind of promotion, when it comes to this kind of ad on air. This is one that I do from the bottom of my heart because I know this product, I know this business, I know it well. I'll get scripts from people, but this is not a script. No, this is Ethan and his work reflected in my telling you that they will customize your world. Screen printing, custom apparel, embroidery, stickers, banners, trophies, foam fingers, pens, coasters, you name it, you want it, your logo, your artwork, put on it. Dynamite Enterprises has what you need. Hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. Tell him the Fan Show sent you, and he'll probably cut you a deal. I don't know how it works there because they're in high demand. They're kicking out new stuff all the time. I follow their Instagram, and they're always busy. He's always printing stuff. But hit him up. Tell him you heard about him on the Fan Show if you're in the Spokane area, or even if you're not. If you need to have custom stuff done, Dynamite Enterprises is the place to go. So it is Ethan. It is awesome, and they customize your world. So the headlines from today, not a whole lot. I mean, let's be honest here. It's the next thing that we've got this weekend, of course, is the NBA playoffs. The hockey playoffs continue tonight. We're going to find out who the fourth and final is for the Western Conference Finals. So the Vegas Golden Knights have been patiently waiting for their opponent. And tonight, in about 20 minutes, the start of the Jets and the Predators will kick off. Predators, of course, went deep into the playoffs to the postseason last year. Nashville became a hockey town. Who would have thought? But overall, I think the right Final Four will make it, because I think 3 of the 4 have been pretty good. So 404, either one should put on a great series when it comes to dropping the puck for the Western Conference Finals. But NBA, oh man, I'm not a basketball fan, and we don't even mention like baseball on here, and it's for the same reason. I can't get into a sport where it seems like it's the same team or the same two teams in it every year. Now, I know that baseball's been pretty good about it, but let's be honest here. I mean, the most daunting moment for me ever in baseball was when I saw the front page of a paper after the Yankees had won yet another World Series, and I forget what number it was. I don't know what number they're at. But it said Yankees finally capture elusive, and then whatever number title it was. And it was a lot. Okay, we're not talking like third, fourth, fifth, first title. Okay, we're talking like there's been a lot of them. And for them to use the word elusive and the Yankees and title in the same sentence, I was like, wow. Like that's how far we've come. That's baseball. And I know that they're doing well right now, and that's fine. Judge is a great, fantastic competitor, and I think those of you that love baseball, you love it for your reasons, and that's fine. It's hard for me to follow. It's going on constantly. There's too many games. I mean, Steve Ranazisi and I talked about this. Baseball's got way too many games. You could cut it down to about 40 at least, easily. And with basketball, it's the same thing. There's too many games. It's I won't say that it's as crazy a schedule as baseball is, but you've got two teams in it all the time. We're on the verge of having Cavs Warriors three in a row, and I don't know how you can do it. I get that some of the games are great, the performances are fantastic. LeBron James playing like he'd be number one on your Mount Rushmore of basketball, but I don't know as a fan how you can enjoy watching the same faces in it every single year. It'd be like if the Patriots went to the Super Bowl every single year, and it's just like who's going to take them on now? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but oh well, it is what it is, and that's okay. So we are gonna. That pretty much does it for headlines. Don't forget we've got Spokane Wolfpack Car Wash coming up this weekend, and that'll be a lot of fun if you're in the Spokane area. 10 o'clock, 315 North Argonne is where you'll want to be between 10 and 5. We're going to be washing cars, raising money. So, without further ado or any more delay, we'll go to a commercial break, and I will welcome my first guest of the evening, Folger Emerson, funny comic of the month. We'll be right back with more of the Fan Show after this. You're listening to the Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Faruq. Faruq, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's the Fan Show!
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com, or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me is Comic of the Month, Folger Emerson, and he doesn't have a whole lot of shows, which was the irony of it, so I said, hey, why don't you come be on mine? So welcome, Folger. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. Thursday is my last day of the week for the show, and so I always like to have a good variety of guests. I've got you on, and then my good friend Faruq, but had Mr. Philip Kopczynski on last night. He's doing his album recording this weekend, but when did you hear that you were the comic of the month, and how'd that make you feel?
Yeah, so it made me feel great, and I found out when Harry Riley messaged me at like 11:30 at night, and he was just like, "Hey, you're gonna be the comedian of the month. We'll send you some questions to answer in a couple weeks. Bye." And so I waited till I woke up in the morning, and I replied like, "Cool." And then then they posted some pictures of me, and I was like, "Sweet." And then they're like, "Stay tuned for upcoming show dates." I'm like, "Well, I got a show in Moses Lake on Saturday, and then one in Lewiston on Tuesday, and I got the drinking debate actually on Sunday, so that one's been added since then." But yeah, I have had April and March were two like incredibly busy months for comedy for me, and so I guess they just waited till I was done with my busy months to make me the comedian of the month.
I feel like, that's good and everything, because then you've got this availability to, do shows like mine, and of course be guests or go make appearances wherever you need to. I don't know how it all works in that world, but you'd think that, if you're going to announce someone as Comic of the Month, you'd want to give them quite the list of places that they could go and see them perform,
Yeah, well, it's very sporadic getting shows, at least at my level. A lot of the shows I get on are, "Hey, I can't do this show. You want to do it?" "Sure." Or they'll post to our page, "Hey, I need a guy who can do 10 minutes. And I'm like, "I'll do it." And so usually it's only a couple weeks notice. Some shows are a couple months notice.
Yeah, I had you on the Mark Morris Comedy Showcase, a little precursor for that night, and that was a great set. I enjoyed watching you guys. I always get a good kick out of all the comics that are featured. It always seems like Mark puts together a great lineup. What's been your favorite comic experience, as far as like whether it's opening for someone or a lineup that you thought went really smoothly and that people got a lot of fun out of, or just an event that sticks out to you?
My favorite comic experience would definitely be when I was doing an open mic at Chan's not too long ago, and there were these two meth heads playing pool, and they got kicked out. And so one of them chugged my beer before he left, and I had just ordered it. And the bartender was like, "You're in here all the time. I'll give you another beer for free." And I'm like, "All right, I finally made it."
Yeah, see, those are the friends you want to have in life, are the ones that are just like, we'll booze you again. It's fine. No charge.
Yeah, I got to host for Kelsey Cook and her boyfriend, Kane Holloway, a couple months ago, and they were just super cool. But honestly, one of my favorite memories or moments was hosting the open mic when Sally Jackson did a set, and she's like some 96-year-old lady that's a huge, staple to Spokane, and she was only supposed to do 8 minutes, but she did 15, and it was a legitimately just killer set. Like, she just killed the audience. Everybody loved it. She did so well, and I've never wanted to get a selfie with a famous comedian before, just because I feel like I don't want to bug them, and that's like they get it all the time. But that was the first time I ever got a selfie with someone on that stage, with Sally Jackson in her motorized wheelchair. And that was just, and she brought like 150 people. That was a crazy night, because they weren't sure how many people were going to show up. So the manager was, delivering drinks, and they only had 2 waitresses. And so before my opening set, I was just like, "Hey, if you're a comic and you're a decent person, you should go run some drinks for the wait staff." And so a bunch of comics were running drinks, and so I was hosting and then waiting table and bussing tables, and then running drinks too. And that was just a fun. I like chaotic moments like that, and that was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're a guy that does a lot of, not going to say military events, but it's like you're a former military guy yourself, and so you have like a special like audience that you try to get more involved with. How has that worked for you? Is there a lot of demand for comics and like military bases and stuff like that?
I think that's something that when I was overseas, I never saw a single show when I was overseas. But they had a bunch, and we were always busy doing our job, but a lot of guys that didn't have a super high, our job had no hours. We had to, all of a sudden we would like, "Oh shoot, tomorrow we got to wake up at 4 and we're going to be out till 8, and so we couldn't really plan for things. But a lot of guys on base would be like, there's a comedian, or there's a band, yeah, I'll check it out, and they end up always loving it. And that's what's weird about troops, is they call it mandatory fun. Like, hey, there's gonna be this event, and you will go there, and they're like, okay. But then they always, it's almost always they end up having a good time and enjoying themselves, and that's how it is on bases or overseas. Is, hey, there's a comedian, or hey, there's this event happening, and troops go and they end up having a good time, and I'd like to do more out at the Air Force Base, because, you got guys stationed out there, and they just, they're new to Spokane, or they're not from the area, and they don't want to go out and waste money, just getting drunk. So I would love to be able to do more. I know the comedy club went out there once or twice, and I talked with the owner, and I'm like, you really got it. Like, I love performing for troops. They're absolutely the best audience. Service members, that I maybe because I'm in the service, they are very, I could, get across to them really easily.
When it comes to troop humor, would you describe it more as like a running inside joke, or just kind of a lifestyle that you have to have lived at some point in order to get it?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. It's definitely there's definitely the running inside jokes, because even with like the Air Force, or the Marines, or the Army, or the Navy, we have our different terms for things.
Yeah.
But there's always like everyone, like one term that goes across all the services is that guy, And so you could be telling a story, and then you could be like, all of a sudden that guy shows up, or all of a sudden he started acting like that guy, and they laugh. And they just, it was definitely a very situational humor. Service members definitely have a situational based humor. Like, you could definitely tell stories, especially stories of when you were, in the service, or, military stuff that you had done, and they could put themselves there. Because we do that constantly in training scenarios. Okay, pretend that guy over there in a pickup truck is a Taliban, and it's a helicopter or whatever. It's we're very used to thinking outside of our present situation, so it's really easy. You don't necessarily need one-liners. You just need to be able to, convince, portray the joke as being a situation.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think they're any different from like the next person. I just think that they've lived obviously a very different life than the average person, because obviously you guys find a lot of things that we find funny as civilians, and so it makes it kind of like a double dip for especially a comic like you, who's not only, you can pander to the civilian people, but you can also relate to the troops, because you've lived in both worlds and you know what works. Is there anything that maybe a comedian, a type of joke that they would tell that would fall flat on like a set of troops? Because it seems like you are the kind of guys that you want that outlet. You're ready to laugh. You're ready to break up the mundane. But is there anything that like a story scenario or anything like that would just, in your experience, would fall completely flat on like a military group?
I really don't think so. Especially with the Army, mostly the Army, because that's what I'm most experienced with, has changed a lot since like the 80s. And it's actually, the Army is fairly liberal, fairly hipster, more so than you would believe. and I, there was an open mic that I was at with Phil Kopczynski, and pretty much the entire bar was a group of Army guys. And I could tell by looking at him, and I told Phil, because he was up next, and I'm like, hey, those are all Army guys. And he's like, how do you know? And I'm like, and I explained it to him, but he didn't get it. I was like, they're just, trust me, they're all Army guys. He's like, are they going to be offended and like, that's all. No, they're not going to be offended. Like, if an Army guy gets offended, he should have joined the Navy. or if he gets offended, he's that guy. There might be one guy who gets upset, and like, and they're really, they're not offended. I have not seen a joke fall flat, and there's just shitty jokes that aren't funny that'll fall flat on troops. I was on the East Coast in Boston, and I was at an Army course and brought a bunch of people from this course to a show, and one of the other comics was like, hey, because he tells a joke about how the worst thing to ever happen in New York is Donald Trump's parents having sex and, giving birth to him. And he's like, but the way the joke went is he was like going to imply that it was 9/11. But he's like, would a 9/11 joke be distasteful? And I'm like, no. These guys they're gonna laugh at whatever. They're gonna laugh at anything. And one guy did get upset about it, but he was trying to like impress a chick. So he was trying to like try his stuff, and it just ended up turning him into that guy, which you never want to be that guy in the military, and all of a sudden he was.
Yeah, I think every industry has a that guy, and I know for media, doing podcasts and shows like this, I've come across a lot of them, and I think each one is different as far as what makes them that guy. But yeah, if you can't pinpoint that guy within like the first 20 minutes of being in a room, chances are you're that guy, and you never want to be that guy.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, and I've been that guy before, and it sucks. And yeah, you don't. You just, if you don't know you're that, like if you're not the dumbest guy in the room, or if you haven't found the dumbest guy in the room, you are the dumb something like that. One thing that I think is specifically a military joke that civilians will never really get is like clipboard humor.
Oh yeah,
because clipboards are incredibly powerful in the military. If you have because it's not something you have all the time, but if you have a clipboard, you can get into anywhere in the military. You don't need a secret security clearance. You don't need this or that. Just if you have a clipboard, you can find out anything. And you can walk into a top secret meeting with a clipboard and just do something mundane that you'd never think somebody would do before, like start counting bricks on the wall. And then look back at your clipboard every now and then, and people are going to be like, wait, hold on, like, are you supposed to be in here? And then just look at them and be like, what's your name? And who's your commander? And they'll be like, oh, shit. And then just write it down on the clipboard. And clipboard humor is something that I don't think civilians will ever get. I've done the clipboard trick before. And yeah, clipboard will get you, it literally will get you anywhere you want to go.
Well, hopefully I don't need a clipboard to get into your next show, but what do you have coming up down the pipe here, whether locally or out there anywhere?
Well, so on Moses Lake on Saturday, I forget the name of the brew house without looking. It's not a brew house. It's probably the only brew house in Moses Lake. And then Lewiston, and I forget the name of the venue. I'm horribly unprepared. But I know this Sunday, I'll be at the drinking debate. I know it's Mother's Day, but if you're not a mom or if you're a bad mom, you can come to the drinking debate on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And I got some free tickets left. And then also on Monday, the following day, we're doing a roast of Mika Lawman. She's moving away, and so we're all going to call her a bitch. And we're going to do it through various methods and ways, and it's going to be a great time. So the roast is going to be a lot of fun. I made a PowerPoint presentation.
That's awesome. I always feel like the roast is one of the best things about comedy, but it's something that's got to be done so delicately because it's like, a person wants to be of a status where people are just like, man, we should roast you. And then you're just like, yeah, people should roast me. And then you're like, be careful what you wish for, because you don't know what kind of dirt these people are going to either have on you or dig up on you. And so it's almost like you have to go in prepared to be like, there could be literally anything about me said, truth or not, and it's going to be just the longest, however long the event goes, of my life.
It's and with Mika, nobody's gonna be delicate. She's a goddamn bitch, and she deserves everything she's got coming. And but what sucks is like I'm gonna be the host, so even though I'm not getting roasted, I'll probably get just as many jokes thrown my way. And they always make fun of me for the same exact things. They always say I dress nicely, or I'm in shape, or I'm secretly gay. And I'm like, none of those things are really that bad.
Not in 2018, no. Like like probably, puts you in an elite group of just like, yeah, I've got class and I've got opportunity, so hey, why not? But
yeah, I think I'm gonna make a shirt that says in quotations "secretly gay" just to take away their ammo.
It's like a anti-bullying thing, a mechanism that they use. Well, Folger, it's been great to have you on the show. I had a great time getting to know you before Mark Morris's comedy showcase, so I will make a point to try to see you the next time that you're in the area, whether it's at the Drinking Debate or at your the next event that you're a part of. But congratulations once again on being Comic of the Month, and have a great weekend and a great time at the Drinking Debate.
Yeah, well, thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me. And any other time, I'd love to be on the show.
Hey, sounds good, man. You take care.
You too.
All right, that was Folger Emerson. Oh, the things that we talk about here on the Fan Show. But great guy, really great guy. And I'm completely serious when I talk about roasts and how dangerous I think that they can be. So that brings us to the point of the show where I'm going to welcome on my next guest. It is the finale of the evening, and who better than the man with, I don't even know if you say golden voice, but it's Faruq. But before that, I'm curious if you're interested in co-working, because Praxis is Spokane's newest co-working space. In this space, they value diversity, inclusion, and of course, a sense of community. That's what Praxis brings to the table. That's why I am proud to have Praxis be featured on the show. These promos I do, the words I'm speaking are from my experience interacting with these fine people like Robbie, who they are going above and beyond what is needed from a company like this. They're providing a space where you can be yourself at work. Praxis located in downtown Spokane on the 4th floor of the Holly Mason Building, 157 South Howard Street, Spokane, Washington, 99201. Their lease is for a space that is 3,500 square feet, and it is equipped with a small kitchenette, conference room, small office, and a large open area. There are excellent parking options, a coffee shop in the bottom of the building, and space is only a 9-minute walk from River Park Square. So $275 a month. They're offering month-to-month memberships and discounted memberships for longer-term commitments. I think I just saw that they had a 3-month special going on, but in order to double-check, follow them on social networking, or social media, I should say, and go and check out praxiscoworking.com. You can hit up Robbie, 509-220-0817, and then email Robbie at praxiscoworking.com. So that's Robbie with an I, R-O-B-B-I. And the $275 gets you all the perks, which include a personal desk, access to all the business and recreational amenities, a key, Wi-Fi, use of the private rooms as they are available. There's no hidden fees, no conference room fees, no limited amount of minutes that you can spend in certain areas. $275 gets it all for you. So hit up Praxis today, because they celebrate entrepreneurs, they collaborate together, and they help each other create the best work of our lives. Be yourself at work with Praxis Co-working. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and go to our last commercial break and bring on Faruq from Battlebots. We'll be right back with more of the Fan Show after this.
This is The Sheet.
Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Skype hates it.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns. 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside the house? Or you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. Here, listen to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ciccarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me and Dr. D, Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, for the Mad Scientist Sports Lab. The big intellect, the experiments on the chalkboard, and the guest subjects will be rolling in. Mad Scientist Sports Lab, only on WBLZ Sports, where we got balls.
Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial, or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? We'll call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus our spotlight on the positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLZSports.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me is a man who needs no introduction because he has made a career out of giving some of the best. But if you ask him what time it is, he's going to give you the same answer every time. What time is it, Faruq?
It's robot fighting time!
Oh, my man, chills. Tomorrow night, Discovery Channel. How you feeling on the eve of Battlebots?
Man, you know, I'm feeling good, man. I'm very excited. We got a new season. We got a new home. It's feeling comfortable. It's looking good. Can't wait to see all the great robot fights, all the great action. And, man, let me tell you, the action this year is better than ever.
I'm excited for it. I got to see some of it firsthand myself. We get a great fight card tomorrow night, a dream match, in fact, to kick off the new season, which is part of the new setup that they've got for season 3, where it's a fight card and the regular season, and then we're going to go into the tournament for the postseason. And I mean, it's chaos, but in the most beautiful and robotic way. Minotaur and Tombstone will face off in the main event tomorrow night. What was your reaction when you finally got the call that said, "Hey, we've been picked up. We're on Discovery. Like, here's the dates," or like, I don't even know how that phone call goes about, but.
Oh man, it was amazing feeling, man. It was a great day. I was sitting around, you know, kind of knew that, you know, there was some chitter chatter, you know, just going on about whether or not I was going to come back. I just kept my fingers crossed, kept my prayers up, and when the word came through, man, I was super excited, very excited to get back in there, get in the battle box, and I just had a real good time, man. It was an amazing feeling to hear that we got picked up again.
So if you had to pick a moment that defined your 2018, was it Philadelphia winning the Super Bowl, or you getting the call that there's a BattleBot season 3?
I mean, now come on, man. You know, listen. Look, I love BattleBots. I love my BattleBot family. You know what I mean? I love the whole crew, but I've been waiting a lifetime for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. A lifetime. So, you know what I mean? It's Eagles win the Super Bowl #1. And I was had to say BattleBots definitely a close second.
So I got to say, man, you were the one that I wanted to be on the show the night before the season premiere because when I was down there, I got a sense of just how important you are to this whole production. And I don't think that there's any sort of like overhyping it to say that you are what really brings this production together because there's a lot of stuff that you do outside the battle box. When I talked to Greg Munson a couple of weeks ago, he said that, they thought about maybe recasting, and when he thought about possibly losing you, he was like, over my dead body. John Remar, you apparently went around and stuck Post-it notes all over the place with some inspirational quotes, and it really struck a positive chord with the cast and the crew and the crowd alone. I don't know if there's a bigger group of Faruq fans than when it's robot fighting time. So obviously you have made your mark. You have made an impact. Like, what all do you attribute who you are in this community of BattleBots to?
I just attribute it to be me being myself, man, and just, I consider myself to be someone who has interest in many different fields, and not only that, but I respect everybody and what they do. I don't look at people. A lot of people come into the robot thing. I have people that have, told me and talked to me saying, "Oh, it's nerds and it's this, it's that," and it's not, man. It's a bunch of great people that just have a passion for something. And if you're a great person and you got a passion for something, that's something that I can get down with. And for me going around and just making sure everybody's having a good time doing their thing, man. I am so blessed to get paid to do what I love. And if you have that, man, there's nothing left to do but pay it forward, man. Just make sure everybody's having a good time. A lot of people, we all got things going on in our daily lives, good, bad, and different. And, it's just good to come to a place and just have a place that you can actually call home, even if it is for just 2 weeks, like our Battlebots taping was. So, you just got to go in, have a good time. And man, I just try to be the best me I can be.
Faruq 2020, you heard it here first, folks. I'm calling it right now. Faruq 2020 is going to be on the ticket with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Crazy. People are crazy, man. Look, I know first they started out with Oprah, and then they got people making signs at Battlebots talking some Faruq for president. Nah, man, I'm good, man. I'm not taking on that task right there.
Well, I got to say, so clearly you're a centerpiece or one of the key components to what BattleBots is. And I don't know if you can win an award for doing what you do in the BattleBots community, but you did get nominated for an award. Side note here, The Noise was up for an award. Tell us a bit about that news and when you got it and how it made you feel.
Yeah, that was crazy. We got the news that we were nominated. Our director, Steve Grant, great director for The Noise, for our show, he was nominated for a Daytime Emmy, and that was a surreal moment. I never imagined my name being involved with something that would be attached to one of the major industry awards, like a Grammy or Emmy or Oscar or Tony or anything like that. And it was just a surreal moment. And again, man, it's just a tribute to the fact of just being a blessing and feeling like a blessing and being able to go in and do my thing. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine anything like it, but I'm just very grateful and very blessed and very happy to be a part of it.
So John wanted me to ask you, because I talked to him last night, he said, ask him about the story behind the Post-it notes. So I want to hear it straight from the man himself. What was the idea behind it, and did you expect it to have the kind of impact and reaction that you did from the cast and crew?
Well, to be honest with you, I actually misread the task wrong. We were with our life group, and we were told to, it was like, hey, look, my life group at church, I get up with a bunch of people from my church, and we talk things out. And one of the things was like, hey, look, just, go around making people feel good. It was supposed to be done anonymously. I was supposed to anonymously attach these Post-it notes around the place so people could find them. But, all I heard was Post-it notes, inspirational messages, no problem. So I was down with it. I was like, it was Friday, a hashtag Feel Good Friday. Let's just try it. Let's do it. And, to be honest with you, man, it was crazy the response that I got. A lot of the cameramen and a lot of the crew and everybody else, they kept them, their Post-it notes on their cameras, on their badges all week long while the whole time we were taping. And I even had a couple people that actually got emotional. We had conversations based off of those because they were having a bad day, and one of the Post-it notes I believe I gave somebody probably said something like "You were loved," and it's just real simple, like just to let people know they're loved. And this person actually ended up breaking down, crying because they were having a bad day. And they needed to hear that, you know what I'm saying? And you just never know what people are going through. So I mean, it's too much anger, too much hate going on in the world, man. And we just got to get out there and spread love any way we can. Whether you get the assignment right or you get it wrong, you still can have an impact. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that was about, man. And I plan to make that something that I do at every time I go on a set or every time I get around a group of new people. Just try to remain positive because you never know what people are going through.
Faruq out there doing work, folks, and it doesn't take a lot. It just it's the little things. But man, like it's crazy to hear the stories and to witness it firsthand. I mean, you get like into a mode. You seriously do. It's like, I remember I saw you and you were like, oh man, what's up? And we shook hands and you're all suited up and it's just like, and then you're reading the cards and you just, I can see it in your eyes, man. You are locked in. So I gotta know, on a lighter side, when you get into that battle box or when you get those cards, is there a team or a name that comes up that you're just like, oh no, not this one again?
Well, for me, there was one particular one. I'm sure to make the outtakes. When I had to introduce one particular robot, I'm not going to mention the name right now, but I had to do a tune or like a song for the name. Like I had to like kind of hum the tune that goes along with the name of the robot. And let me tell you, man, Rich, I'm telling you, Fan Show fans, listen, Fan Nation, I had the tune in my head all day long. But once I got in that battle box and the camera started rolling, it just completely went out the door. That was my first time having to do like 5 or 6 takes of an introduction. But man, it was crazy, man. I just, that one right there, I would love to forget. But I'm gonna tell you right now, after how many times I had to do that introduction, I'll never forget that song as long as I live. But my process is crazy because as soon as I get my cards like right before each fight, and I just try to, I try to memorize them as much as possible so I can go in there and just do clean intros. And if it wasn't for the live crowds and seeing the teams and seeing all the energy and stuff they give me, man, I wouldn't be able to transform and perform the way I do. I give a big credit to all the fans out there of Battlebots and all the robot builders and stuff that just, they give me that energy to go out there and do what I do.
Yeah, and that was something that I thought was very special about that particular fan group being there for the live tapings, is that when I'm watching Kenny Florian doing his segment stuff in the battle box, and he had to do a couple of takes, and then you would be in there doing your intros, and if it took you a couple of takes to do it, like the crowd, they weren't trolling you guys to wait for you to screw up and then like pounce on you. It was like they were your support system. Like if you had to do a second take, like they started cheering, like they were all for it, man. Like that's the kind of respect that you guys earned from that crowd down there, and I thought that was something that you don't see a lot of when it comes to that type of environment.
Right, absolutely. Sometimes they can give out some boos and stuff, if you can sit there too long. But these fans, man, the BattleBots fans, definitely some of the greatest, most loyal, fun fans in the entire world. And I just love getting out there. I mean, they make signs, they stick around for autographs, they have fun, they're laughing. I mean, if the taping takes 3-4 hours, whatever, they're just loving it, man. And it's a beautiful thing to witness and be a part of.
All right, so my last 2 questions for you before the big premiere tomorrow night. Did you come up with
yes, sir,
introductions for Kenny and Chris at any point? Because I feel like those are the kind of guys that, in a playful way, would have the ego that they're just like, we need to be introduced by Faruq when we do this.
No, I mean, that would definitely be great. As a matter of fact, I might, just for pub purposes, I might actually, come up with an introduction for each one of them and then do it, before an episode premieres or something. But no, man, working with Chris and Kenny, man, for the last 3 seasons on BattleBots, and also Jessica, she went from being a judge to now being a sideline reporter, man. Just great people, man, humble people that love doing what they do. No ego, no tripping. Everybody goes out there and have a good time. They understand the jobs they got to do, and it's really fun working with everybody.
Yeah, I got that vibe from them too. I got some segments with Chris and Kenny, and they were a playful couple of guys, and the whole pit area was just so much fun. So will you be using the box as your primary ways of commuting from home to work now? Because that was like the most popular item down there was the box car.
Yeah, the cardboard box car, man, that was crazy. Listen, it was funny for 2 things. One, seeing people that were small enough, like our makeup artist, Adil, who could actually like fit inside the whole thing. Me, I had to have my legs and arms and everything outside of it. But man, that was cool. Listen, I don't know if it's street and road regulated here in California, but that thing has some zip to it. It definitely has some zip. It need no brakes. No brakes. It needs some brakes. because you can build up your speed and just kind of keep rolling. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun getting in there. I'm a big guy, man. I'm too big to be falling and breaking something, so I was taking it easy. But yeah, it was a lot of fun riding that thing.
Well, it's very fitting because he is the man that is all gas, no brakes. It is Faruq of Battlebots, the master of ceremonies, the man who has the gift of gab inside that battle box. Tomorrow night, we kick it off, Season 3, Discovery Channel, at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Faruq, if you had to give one word to get people hyped for tomorrow night and get them to tune in, what would that word be?
Oh, one word?
Yeah.
Epic.
Epic? I like it.
Epic.
All right, you've got it. Straight from the man himself. Tomorrow night will be epic, and it's the start of a whole new season. They're doing things all kinds of crazy with the fight card format, and then the season, and then the tournament, and the postseason, and the championship. There's plenty of BattleBots to go around. But Faruq, my man, thank you. It was such a privilege and pleasure, and I mean every bit of those words, getting to meet you finally in person down on the set of BattleBots. So I hope we get to do it again next year, but take care of yourself, and I'm sure we'll talk again real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Rich. Fan Nation, y'all. Keep it locked. Keep watching. Keep listening. It's going to be on. And don't forget, we got a lot of good rumbles going on, too, in the Battle Box. So make sure y'all tune it out. Check it out.
All right, man. You take care of yourself. Enjoy the premiere tomorrow night.
Indeed. You, too. Thanks for having me.
All right. That was Faruq, and that's going to do it. That's going to tie a nice, big, epic bow on this week. BattleBots week. Had a couple of comedians. We had John Remar. We had Faruq himself. And then we had Coach Dixie Wooten on Tuesday. It's a great week. It was a great week on the Fan Show. So thank you, Fan Nation, for tuning in. And to all of my new listeners of the BattleBots community, I welcome you. Thank you for tuning in or for listening in podcast form, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. Or if you listen the following day on WBLZSports.com through the WBLZ Sports app, then that's awesome too. But if you're listening live, available on www.thefanshow.com or Spreaker.com/users/thefanshow, then chat with me. Or, shoot me a tweet on social media, message me on Facebook. If you've got my number, text me. But yeah, let's interact. Let's have some fun. Season 3, BattleBots. You're going to get to know some of your favorites and some drivers, builders, and bots that you didn't even know anything about. It's all about to kick off tomorrow night, the Discovery Channel, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And I'm spent. Let's do it. It's robot fighting time. So thank you, Faruq. Thank you, John Remar, and then, of course, thank you, Folger, for being my other guest tonight. It's always great to have comedians on. Like I said, they're a wild card, but they're a whole lot of fun. So, Faruq is the man, and remember, if there's anything you take away from tonight's episode, it's the little things, right? Even the smallest gesture of kindness can make someone's whole day, whole week, really, and that's what Faruq practices. That's why he's such a valuable commodity in the community that is BattleBots. That's why people love him. You're going to love him. You're going to love tomorrow night. BattleBots, so excited for epic robot fights. And that's really the last thing that I got to say about it. So next week, tune in, same Fan Show times, same Fan Show place, which is 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, or if you're going to go backwards, well, I guess that was technically backwards. So if you're going to go forwards, then 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, which is the new time slot for the Fan Show until further notice. Still about 50 minutes to an hour of the same great football and nonsense as obviously you've seen all week long. It's the quiet time for football, and also we've got some great matchups coming up this weekend in both the NAL and the IFL. In fact, let's go ahead. We didn't really do a preview last week because we didn't have a chance to. But this weekend, my, we have got some great ones. Tomorrow night, Cedar Rapids Titans against the Iowa Barnstormers. That kickoff is 7:05 p.m. Central, which is 8:05 Eastern and 5:05 Pacific. Iowa Bowl Part 2. Iowa coming off a big win, first time in franchise history over the Sioux Falls Storm. Cedar Rapids coming so close yet so far to the Arizona Rattlers 2 weeks in a row. So both teams looking to, well, one needs to end their losing streak, and the other needs to keep the momentum going into the rest of the regular season. Then, Saturday, May 12th, we have the Arizona Rattlers taking on the Green Bay Blizzard. Green Bay finally in the win column against the Nebraska Danger. It wasn't even against the Titans. I mean, who thought that was going to happen? But they played Arizona tough last time in Arizona, so here they are in Green Bay. That, again, is 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central, and then, of course, 5:05 Pacific. And then finally, your last matchup of the weekend, again, Saturday, May 12th, Nebraska Danger looking to get back in the win column against the Sioux Falls Storm looking to get back in the win column. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. That is 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central, and 5:05 Pacific. No one cares about Mountain Time, I just realized. I was like, there's 4 time zones, but I only gave out 3. So, in the National Arena League, and for those of you, I appreciate the compliments on my power rankings. The photo app I usually use decided to say, hey, we need to charge you to use this service. It's like I'm stacking pictures on top of each other and then adding text to them later, and I don't even use your app to add the text. So, whatever. But this weekend will be another great one in the indoor football world, and we have the National Arena League. The Lehigh Valley Steelhawks are going to take on the Jacksonville Sharks. Now, Lehigh Valley has yet to win this season. Jacksonville went on a 3-game skid and finally found the win column again last weekend, so that one might be the game to watch. Maine Mammoths against the Massachusetts Pirates. Pirates, who had a huge win against the Columbus Lions last week in the final moments, looking to keep that momentum going against their the other expansion team in their area rival, the Maine Mammoths, and both of those will happen Saturday. And of course, the matchup of the weekend, Carolina Cobras going to Columbus to take on the Lions. Lions with a bitter taste in their mouth after falling short to the Massachusetts Pirates. Cobras red hot right now. My goodness. 4-1, won 4 in a row, and they obliterated the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks. But they're going to look to make it 5 in a row and keep that momentum going because they've got another big matchup coming up. May 19th, the Cobras and the Pirates, Part 2. That is really going to be something. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. I want to thank you all again for listening, and thank you to all of my awesome guests. We're going to do it again 3 nights next week, and then 3 nights the following week. But we'll have plenty to report on. We'll get ready for the Wolfpack season opener next week as well, and then we'll have plenty of reactions, comments, and what the F just happened in the world of sports, pop culture, and everything else that we want to talk about here on The Fan Show. Best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love The Fan Show.